morning to everyone. Welcome back to Wednesday's Mastery of the Middle. I am very glad to be able to be live this morning. It's been incredibly busy, so I know it sounds absolutely silly, but this was a feat all in itself, being able to make it here this morning just because of the workload. And that's the truth of everyone when they build a business, isn't it? That there are days that are incredibly busy, stressful, um, but there's a certain point. I'm going to be honest that stress is secondary to the busyness. It no longer is the dominant part of the busyness, and that's where I'm living right now. That it's not dominant. I'm good. I'm actually very very happy with all the busyness. So we're good. But it's just a factor that right now there's a lot of busyness involved with new initiatives, which I said I will talk about in a moment. But today I wanted to talk about something that is forever a conversation when it comes to building a business. However, today it just happened to be something that we have went and really kind of went back and refined even more. And this is a subject that you'll come across several times, no matter what you're doing. It's the idea of refining your business. And again, this week took a unexpected jump leap into being a lot more refined with what we're doing. So let me give you a little bit of background. Good morning. That when we got started and when we went through all the steps over the last couple of years, and this is something everybody goes through, you have to go through an idea of this is what I want to be, what I don't. Great. Well, then the what do I want to be gets narrowed and refined. And it keeps getting narrowed and refined until you're on a specific path, right? So we've talked about this before, but we did it again. It had to happen again. And the reason being is that the conversation of your ideal client comes into play with this. What do I mean by that? Meaning that we have an idea of who we want to work with, depending on our circumstances, depending on our experience, our expertise, our education, our ability to see that we can refine an industry, as we talked about a couple weeks ago. And I apologize ahead of time. My allergies are really, really bad this week. It's that week in Dallas. It's allergy week. So I've been light makeup only, washing my face constantly. And actually, I've had my hair up for days. This is the first time I've had it down in a couple of days. So if I'm itchy, I hope I'm not going to make anybody else itchy. It's just allergies. In fact, it's a couple weeks earlier here than the Midwest. So it hit me pretty hard this year. So light makeup and get ready for allergy season in the Midwest because it's already here down in the South. So the idea of refining your ideal client will come up again and again. And that is really the entire point of what I wanted to make, summed up in one sentence, is that it's never going to be one and done. It's never going to be just one time when you decide on what you are going to offer. You will continue to do this refinement process for a very long time until you get the exact right formula. What do I mean by that? We, like I said, 3 years ago, started out, went through a lot of education, went through a ton of learning, and applied it to myself and my business partner, Nessa. We went through and really thought about how it would have applied to us as we were building our first businesses and really tried to pull from that knowledge base. As we went, we've decided to refine more and more, and we created an incredible, and we still have an incredible education system. Here's the change. What if we refined it a little further and narrowed who it applied to? And that's exactly what we're doing right now. It's been a wonderful process, really getting to know ourselves better, weirdly enough, and didn't expect that part, to know who we are called to serve and really align with that person. What do I mean? That was a lot of theory conversation. What I mean is that I knew 3.5 years ago, now it was 3.5 years ago, that I am here to serve to help moms, which again, pretty simple terms when it comes to this group, but specifically single moms who need income and need to become entrepreneurs. And I always thought of that as my long-term path. Like, I'm doing this to be able to create digital real estate and to get myself out of being unknown into visibility in the last 3 years, because in the long run, I would serve single moms. And that wasn't exactly the case. And again, thank you to our partners for helping me with this, because I was able to go through a process in the last week that allowed me to see exactly who I should be serving. And this was very interesting, because my thought process was, I need to first get to a certain dollar point to be able to even think about serving single moms. And no, I needed to do it first. I needed to do it immediately. And that was my lesson of the week. And why I'm talking about this is, we always think we've created a company, we've created a product, something that's going to help someone. And generally, not always, because there's somebody I have in mind that's actually in this group that she's serving exactly who she should be serving. And she reached out to me in DMs the other day. So when she hears this, she'll know I'm talking about her. But my point for bringing that up is, generally speaking, unless we have a very specific road path from the beginning that we are very clearly identified with, it could be either because we don't believe it or we do not understand how to serve that exact client. And I was the second one. We can get a little bit muddled and lost. And not saying that our program is bad or that there's anything wrong with it. That is the key. That is the standout. And I'm very proud of that. And the application is what I'm talking about. Lining it up like a flashlight, shining it in the eyes of your ideal client. So the biggest lesson I learned this week, and this is what I wanted to share, was that I thought that I had to go after a target with more income in order to get to the right ideal client in the long run. And then I was pleasantly surprised to find out, no, I needed to serve exactly the person I was called to serve. And that has been the most refreshing part of this entire experience in the last couple of weeks. So I was able to go through a process that is incredibly tech-related, AI-based, and it's a system that a lot of companies do not have access to really look at who I am and how I am supposed to serve my client. And it was a wonderful experience. It's quite interesting. When the feedback came back and they gave me all of the pain points and stresses that I should be really thinking about as I create, all of them gave me a feeling in the pit of my stomach. I felt it. That's good, because it described the stress and the struggles of a single mom. And it was personal for me, because I have felt every one of those feelings, every one of those pain points were mine about 10 years ago. That really, to me, indicated I was on the right path. So what does this mean for everyone else? I go back to this example. I think I talked about it in a previous live. So if you heard it before, bear with me. However, I talked about the fact of when I owned my hair salon. After many years, social media popped up. I remember being one of the first ones that downloaded Pinterest. I jumped on Instagram immediately and thought, well, I'll figure it out. And when that happened, I had gone through a class about, your avatar of your ideal client. Well, back then, it was not about social media. It was in person. So figuring out who your ideal client is in person. I took it, good morning, one step further, and I tried to apply it to what I was trying to figure out on social media. And my reasoning behind it was simple. If you had 20 hair salons in my town, in the area was very white collar, voted one of the best suburban areas in the Midwest to raise children. The public schools are better than some private schools, on and on. Yes, there's a Whole Foods on every corner and a Trader Joe's. You can imagine the neighborhood. But this was earlier days in social media. So I realized something. If you had 20 potential salons that were competing and none of them were on social media except for me, well, I have more of a chance. Those days are gone. we know that everybody's on social media. However, not everybody is utilizing it, and not everybody's trying to speak to their ideal client. So the idea of having competition goes away. And I have to mention this part. There's nobody that's me. There's nobody that's you. There's nobody that's going to be able to attract that ideal client like you can. That was the lesson of my week. So, what does that mean? I went through, did this ideal client homework, and again, it was more meant back then in person. And I thought, well, if I could actually reach this person, then I'd have my ideal clients sitting here in my salon. So that's what I did. I only spoke to that person. I really tried to talk to that person. Now, I had no clue what I was doing. I'm going to be totally transparent here. This was in the very earliest days of social media. However, guess what? She walked in. Literally, she walked in. She walked into the salon, sat down, and I was asking her about her life, getting to know her a little bit. Again, first time I had met her. And as she's describing herself, that list popped up in my head. And I thought, oh my goodness, she's real. She's a real person. And then it made me realize if she was real in this town, she has to have some doppelgangers hanging around here. There's got to be more of them. And guess what? I was right. So it was a great lesson to learn how to apply that idea. And I saw it for myself. And again, I had absolutely no clue how to do it the proper way back then because none of us did. So fast forward to now, learning the fact that I attract that perfect client, I was more worried about pushing it out versus letting it be received. What an idea. So this was, like I said, a very big week for that. So I would encourage everyone to spend some time and really hone in on your ideal client. Now, I know it's easy for me to give that advice. You know, Lee and I are only one DM away. That's exactly what we try to help business owners, and specifically moms, single moms, for me, to be able to do exactly that. So that's our role. So I wanted to mention that if you needed some guidance or assistance, please just send a DM. We'd be more than glad to help you with that. That's what we're here for. So on to the conclusion of that would be that it really adjusted my lens of how I am approaching people. And the advice that was given with that was I only have to worry about being myself. And a couple of years ago, Nesta and I were able to attend an event. I know actually a couple people in this group that have attended the same event. And the lesson when I walked out that door, when I had shared at that event, was who I am just naturally attracts people, the right people, I should say, the right people, not all people, and that's okay, but the right people. But it also taught me that the preconceived idea of who I thought would resonate with what I had spoke that day was totally polar opposite of who actually was open to it. So that lesson, along with this week's lesson, has just taught me to be a lot more relaxed about it and realize that I don't have to worry. I just have to speak to that one and know that that right one will respond and have a conversation with me. And it was great. It was a great lesson this week. So that is my moral of my story. I hope that helps the right person in this as well today. Again, if you need some guidance about this, please reach out. I'll have this conversation again in more detail with you. That's pretty much what I can do to start you out. So that has led to our new stuff. I'm very happy to announce, and actually Lee got a heads up last night. Sorry, Lee. She needs details as well. So I have a feeling that's why she's sitting and watching this incredibly intensely as well, because this is her chance to learn what she's going to be doing as well. We are going to be kicking off something new. It's in beta testing right now. My allergies are nuts. I apologize. And with this new program, it is a miniaturized, specific version of our program that retails at about $20,000. That's very important. I'm proud of that. So that's because almost 3 years of work went into it, and 18 months now. Wow. 18 months exclusively to this program, which is our mentorship to partnership program. But what we did was we took it and turned it into a relatable project for single moms. And you're welcome, Lee. Um, this project is being beta tested. Again, it's all it is a miniaturized version of what we already produced and put out, and we're helping students. But it's specifically to the time period that a single mom has in their life. So what we have done is we're going to be offering, it's a 3-month coaching program. That's 1 hour a week live coaching. And it is at an exceptionally low price because it is in beta testing. And it is our way to start getting it out right in front of single moms to help them build their businesses. Now, to everybody that's in this group, every one of us know a single mom. Every one of us know somebody that deserves more than what they're dealing with right now. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Their stress level, their income, the amount of free time that they have for themselves, or their amount of free time that they have to spend quality with their children. You know that person. We all do. I was that person. I actually said this the other day that sometimes the only quality time I would get with my children was driving in the car to and from childcare so I could get to work. And it bothered me. It kept me awake at night that sometimes I literally would get them home, get them in the bath, and get them to bed and kiss them goodnight. And that was the amount of quality time I had with them for the day. And it endlessly bothered me. So you know that person too. We all do. Give them the ability to connect with me. And the reason being is, like I said, this is a very low cost way for them to understand how to build a business. This is all the basics of how to get started and really how to plan and set goals that are actionable that go with the business plan that we're going to create together. So this is something that I have been waiting to do for a very long time. It makes me incredibly happy to talk about it and to be able to put this out. And it's, like I said, it's going to be 3 months. Now, the other thing I ask, this is the big one. If you talk to somebody that you think would be perfect for this, please encourage them to believe in themselves. And if I go too deep into this, I'd actually cry. But being a single parent is the hardest job in life. And they really, honestly, it really makes you have to stop and figure out who you are. And I heard it, somebody said, I think it was yesterday to me, and I apologize. I have so many conversations, I can't remember who said it, but that they have to find themselves again. And I've always disagreed with that. They have to find out who they are now. After going through stress and trauma and a divorce and being alone, trying to run a household with children and shuffling kids around and just trying to make ends meet and being worried about kids being sick and then not being able to work. It's so much stress. You have to figure out who you are, again, not just again now, the stronger version, the version of you that can handle it. So I would please ask that anybody encourages moms in general, all moms, and I'm not trying to exclude all moms in this conversation, but single moms specifically, because they're doing it alone, to, if they've always had that idea to start a business, to jump into this, because this is their opportunity to jumpstart that dream without a huge cost attached to it. It's just, this is my chance to be able to work one-on-one with those women. And I am very excited about it. This feels exactly where I was supposed to be the whole time. And I guarantee I'm going to cry with them. So that might be a warning too, because, again, that feeling of familiarity and having to open myself up again to what I've gone through is going to be a part of it. And I'm expecting that, and I'm ready for that too. Thank you, Lee. I think it is amazing too. I'm very, very excited about this. So that's why I wanted to talk to everybody in this group about it. Again, we have not been selling in this group. This is not an attempt to sell any of you. It's just to ask you to send me the right single moms that need this and to help us help them. And if you want, it's like I said, I keep saying it, the cost is very, very minimal. And sponsor them, pay for it for them, whatever it takes. But it's time for us to start supporting more our community, and even not forgetting about populations like single parents. I did the research the other day, and a single parent household is 7 times more likely to fall into poverty. I can't live with that. I cannot live with that. So this is my chance to make a difference as well. So I can't talk about it any further than that because I will start crying. So I hope that that gives everybody some guidance when it comes to what they need to do for themselves. And my emotional response to this conversation should tell you how much that this aligns with who I am and how much this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that I'm supposed to serve single moms. That's what I want for everybody in this group when they're building a company, for them to feel that you just have to because it's worth it. And when we are working authentically with the person we are called to serve, we will get results 10 million times better than working with somebody that doesn't relate to us. So go for it. Work exactly in your space. Allow yourself to be emotional. Allow yourself to say, this is going to hurt a little if I have to open myself up, but know what the person on the other side will receive from it. So that's my lesson for today. There are other major developments. Lee is finding out about some of them, in a couple minutes, and also what's going on, but all very good things. And we're going to be pushing off, like I said, some new initiatives. We have some new faces around, and we are rapidly going through my goodness, what do I call it? Not necessarily an evolution, but a scaling, expanding at a rapid rate. And, all I got to say, yes, Lee, I agree. It's very exciting. All I've got to say is that from my perspective, Aprils are always the best time of year. It is my birth month, but I've always believed that April is, for me, the beginning of the year. Why? I don't know. I can't even put my finger on it, but it's always a time of year of renewal. It's always a time for new beginnings, new life. And so I've been waiting for April 1st because I knew that it would every year it's always a great month. And so I knew that April 1st was going to add some new stuff. I had no clue. Let's just say I had no clue compared to what I had imagined. So I'm very grateful for that too. I'm very grateful for what we're going through and why we're going through it, because it's aligning me even better. I was so, caught up. And again, I had to be, as the architect of our company, and I am still. But I've worked at it for so long. It was that breaking point of, when somebody keeps going back and painting one more tiny little spot and one more and one more and one more and one more, and everybody else is looking at the person saying it was fine. Everything was great. But that person can see all the little flaws that no one else can see. Yeah, it's easy to get caught in that. I have too, because it's my baby. This has been my project. So moving into this space now has been incredibly rewarding, and also getting the feedback that what we're doing is incredible, and it is going to continue to be incredible. That's huge. That was wonderful too. So one more thing before I go, as a lot of people in the group know, that I was in California the previous weekend, and it's all kind of blurring together now. But yes, so we went out and we were able to visit with Nesto's family, and this was already kind of in the works. We'd already tentatively set a date, but we are officially engaged and also actively now planning the wedding, which I'm very, very proud about. And we are also getting ready, like I said, to launch a program for other people within our company. that's going to work in alignment with who they need to serve in the future. Not yet. So thanks, Lee, considering you were one of the first ones to find out, of course, which you should be considering. But we're going to be launching even more. Look who that is that popped up. So we're going to be doing even more of this. We're going to be pushing ourselves each into the direction to serve exactly who we're supposed to serve. So there might be some videos of me crying with people. Okay, I can do it. Oh, you're very, well, thank you. Congratulate. Thank you very, very much. But that's the point. The reason why I wanted to talk about this specifically is what better example than us sharing our journey? Because if we don't share, how is anybody else supposed to keep going and know there is a way through in this era of vast technology, daily evolution in tech, and a million different ways to get here, and no playbook? I actually talked to one of my mentors about that. I said, in 2024, where's the playbook? And he laughed. This was yesterday. And he said, I know, I'm still looking for it too. There is no playbook. So hopefully this encouragement and this conversation will help guide some of you as well. That's all I can do. That's my job. So I hope that was helpful. But yeah, everything is great. I hope everybody gets through, if they're in the South Allergy Week. I really hope that soon it's done. I keep looking out at the trees and thinking that they're already blooming, so the leaves are back. Hopefully this is it. We haven't quite hit that mark yet. But if you're going through allergies, good luck. I'm right there with you. And please know that, like I said, this is something we're very passionate about. So if you need that helping hand, give us a call, DM us, send us a text. And even if it's just a couple minutes of cheerleading, we're here for you. I hope this is helpful. Lee and I will be back on Friday to talk about a roundtable discussion about a specific topic that goes along with this. So who knows, if this is a big success and everybody wants to hear more, we can continue this conversation between Lee and myself. Or I can also continue next Wednesday, depending on the feedback. So I hope this is very helpful. I cannot wait to discuss this with more people in this group. And I love getting DMs with feedback of how this group has helped people. That is everything to me. And again, it's not for me for validation. And I'll never mention who, because I love it, just because I am so proud of every woman in this group when they make the progress and getting closer to their goals. It's like I'm hitting goals. That's how much it makes me excited. So please keep sharing that. We just love it. And if anybody has any questions in regards to what I talked about today, please jump in, comment even after in the replay, or reach out. And I will see everybody back here on Friday. I really hope this was helpful and direction-based for the right person. So I will see everybody on Friday. Have a wonderful day.